There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
You're tuning into a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the InnerSpeak Soul Adventures radio show with Jean Adrienne. Jean is the creator of InnerSpeak, a method for clearing karmic and ancestral blocks. She's the author of 4 books and 2 decks of metaphysical clearing and activation cards. Jean offers private sessions via phone or Skype, as well as her office located in Blairsville, Georgia. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 657-383-1895. Enjoy this soul-healing show.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to InnerSpeak Soul Adventures. I am thrilled that you have chosen to join me here today. And today, because it's the first Monday of the month, we've got Laurie Huston as my co-host. So welcome, Laurie.
Hey, Jean.
Hey. So, listeners, if you want to find out more about Laurie, her website is intuitivesoul.com. Wake up, Jean. Intuitivesoul.com. And my website is jeanadrienne.com. So, hey, Laurie, how are you? Hello? I am not hearing anybody. Laurie, can you hear me? You're unmuted. Hello? Okay, so while we're waiting for the technical difficulties to get straightened out, how are you guys liking this upcoming Mercury retrograde? Laurie will tell you more about it, but I'll tell you what, it is kicking my ever-loving butt already, and it doesn't happen until, I think, this coming weekend. My car was in the shop last week. Been having issues with my phone, with my computer. My guest didn't show up on my TV show today. I lost a good friend over a communication snafu. Boy, what else? And apparently Laurie's having technical difficulties. She's dropped off, so I'm sure she'll call right back in when she gets her end figured out. So yeah, it's starting early. So I'm guessing if you were thinking about going out and getting yourself a new iPhone or buying a computer for back to school or whatever, maybe this is not a good time to do it, even though you're ahead of the curve, because Mercury retrograde hadn't started exactly yet, because this one appears to be a Lollapalooza. I'm not really sure why. And maybe it's also got something to do with the energies of today. You know, we're in the middle, like right now, of a full moon, partial lunar eclipse. And that seems to have a lot of fire with it as well, and a lot of power in its punch. So this one is all about releasing. And, this one's about letting go of the stuff that is no longer serving you. And, like I said, Mercury retrograde cost me a friendship because of a communication break where something happened, something was said that I didn't say, and somebody else thought I did, and blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Apparently that was a relationship that had served its purpose. So, I just have to let it go. But that would be what I would offer for you to ponder yourself. What are you holding on to in your life that is really, it's really maybe not serving you anymore, but you haven't wanted to let it go because you liked it, and it tasted good or it felt good or whatever you thought it did. So these are the kinds of things that you need to really excavate and find and let them go before the universe causes them to be jerked away from you in a not so graceful manner. So let's just start. Since we don't have Laurie yet, let's just start with callers because I have rambled on long enough. Our first caller is in area code 415. So area code 415, I think it's Anne, right?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, all right. So how can I help you today?
Just if anything you see about for clearing out anything for the new to come in, for the divine gate opening and all that.
So let's just take a moment, surrender to Spirit, and ask for help in looking at what we need to look at today for you, so that you can release anything that you're holding on to that you might not be aware of, that's holding you back from having everything that you desire in your life. And this is an issue that goes back to your birth. So I'm guessing, Anne, that you're getting ready to give birth to something new in your life, and it's brought up an old birth trauma issue.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. So the second cards are the setup cards. So let's see what the setup is around the issues that happened at your birth that are potentially blocking you. So it's going to be this card and this one. Okay. So what was going on with your parents when you were born?
They weren't happy.
Yeah. Exactly. So the first card that I pulled said denied infidelity. And the second card that I pulled says loss of faith in self, others, and God. So as an unborn child, you were aware of the unhappiness that was going on here. And when you popped out, I guess you maybe thought it might be better, and it wasn't. And you were like, oh, and I wanted to fix this, and I didn't, or I couldn't. Or if they had loved me more, maybe they would love each other more. Something like that, I don't know. But anyway, loss of faith in self or others. So the third set of cards are the soul reaction cards. And so what that did to you at the soul level is shame and humiliation. So that's where you're connecting into this now. So you've got some stuff around shame and humiliation that needs to be let go of so that you can move forward into this new life you're ready to give birth to. All right, so there's a stuck belief, and the stuck belief is I can't have what I want. And that goes all the way back to your birth, baby.
True.
Okay, so let's clear this. I'm going to pull 3 of the green cards. The green cards are the clearing cards. And the first one is this one, and that one, and okay, so what I want you to do, Anne, is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to go back in time, and I want you to go find baby Anne, right after she was born, maybe at the moment of her birth, and she is upset, she is ashamed, she is afraid. I want you to have her give you all of her negative emotions. Just let them, wrap them up in little balls and hand them to you like tennis balls. And then I want you to turn around and give those negative emotions to an angel and let the angel take them away, because neither one of you needs to have them.
All right.
And she has a message for you. Okay, good. So baby Anne has a message for you. And so how she wants to communicate this to you is, I want you just to hold up a piece of poster board for her. And I know you're going to think this is funny, but let her write you a message on the piece of poster paper. Done writing, turn it around and read what she said to you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, So let's take all of this I'm sorry stuff, the shame, the humiliation, the old belief that you can't have what you want, and I want you to create a beautiful bottle. You can make it really ornate and put jewels all over it. And then I want you to put all that stuff in there, the shame, the humiliation, the old belief you can't have what you want, and any other things that need to go in there that are no longer serving you. And then put the cork in that bottle and give that one to Michael as well. Let him take it away. Better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get blessings from the angels for having the courage to call in today and just deal with this stuff. So let's see what your blessings are. Your first blessing is a blessing of union, so that you can accept love from yourself, from your family, from your partner, from spirit. The second blessing is a healing from your awakened inner. And the final blessing is renewed faith in yourself. So you can go out there now and accomplish what it is you're wanting to accomplish. You can give birth to whatever it is you're ready to give birth to. But it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes and open your crown center and let the love from Mother, Father, God come in and fill up all the space where you just let go of all that stuff. And then I want you to give thanks. Give thanks to Spirit, your angels, teachers, and guides. And baby Ann. There you go. And I want to update all your reference points, all ways in which you perceive, and you are perceived in the world. And let's just wrap you up in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing this work in to whatever degree is appropriate for your spiritual evolutionary state. So be it, and so it is. And thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Thank you for the show.
All right. Okay, so we've got other people out on the switchboard, but they're in listen mode only. So if you will press 1, then we'll know you actually want a reading. Now, if you just want to listen, that's okay, too. And Laurie is back. Hallelujah, Laurie. How are you?
Is it working now?
It is. I hear you.
Oh, good. Can we say Mercury retrograde?
We already did. While I was waiting for you to dial back in, I gave my lament about Mercury retrograde because it's already kicking my butt.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I just reminded people not to go out and buy any electronics or new iPhones or anything like that because if it's this strong already and it hasn't even started, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little bit, concerned my own self because so I think since I talked to you last, my house sold, and so I'm getting ready to pack it up and move to Tallahassee. And I'm going down on Wednesday. I've got an eye appointment on Wednesday in Atlanta, and then I'm driving on to Tallahassee, and I have 8 appointments to look at places to rent. So I'll be able to sign a rental contract before it goes retrograde, but good Lord, if it's already messing with me now.
Yeah.
So
I'm
trying
crazy.
to make sure, I know, I'm trying to make sure that I, dot my I's and cross my T's and look at every little thing about each one of these houses. I've made spreadsheets, comparing them all, and it's like, ooh. So, yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about this this full moon that we're in right now, because I know you know much more about this stuff than I do. It's a partial lunar eclipse, right?
Yeah, it's not a full lunar eclipse. I mean, it's obviously it's a full moon. It's in Aquarius, and so this is really about connecting in with the more universal love because, okay, so the full moon is in Aquarius and the new moon, which is a full solar eclipse, especially where you live, is in Leo. Yeah. And Leo's all about love, but it's more about self-love. So the 2 eclipses that are together, which they're always together, but they're not, for the next year and a half, I believe, we're going to have Aquarius and Leo full eclipses. So that's always important because Yeah. Well, that usually happens, but it always, like the last eclipse set that we had, which I believe was October or November, I can't remember now, but it was one was Aquarius and the other was ending the Pisces Virgo. So we're moving into the new energy, and this energy is all about, so Aquarius is always about universal love, where Leo is all about self-love. And so this is really opening ourselves up to, being more open and loving and finding our way to, really what is important, which is getting out of our fears and being very open and loving. And of course, the solar eclipse, and we've been having a lot of excess solar flares and stuff. So it's kind of all leading us to the solar eclipse, which is going to really bring a lot of light. So we're already getting a lot of light right now, because Aquarius, again, it's all about kind of the universal love, or more spiritual agape, and so it's an important kind of next year and a half or 2 years, whatever it is, that we finally will move out of this one, because the eclipses always go with where the north and south nodes are. So it's kind of important. I don't know if we've actually moved from. We must have. It must have been in like May, I think, maybe. Oh, that's right. So the last set of eclipses would have been in January. Where am I going? This is already August, Laurie. So, right? Or it was January, February. So, So yeah. So I think the North Node moved. I haven't had my astrologer on my show for a while, so I kind of missed out on where things have been going. But if I remember from earlier in the year, she did say that I think it was April and May. Anyway, we've now moved into that fully, so that's why we have this set of eclipses. And of course, eclipses have an intense energy to them, but most of what I'm hearing is that this is going to be a more positive. The only problem, again, is that we're going to be in a Mercury retrograde. So it's like everything sort of, it's sort of going to be very, very intense. So if you haven't done a lot of work, or you feel yourself going into fear and resistance, know that an incredible amount of light is being poured into the planet right now. And so it's really about us, sort of stepping forward and opening up our hearts and allowing this energy to move through us, and to really step into our power with a sense of love and our passion and what we love doing. So it's kind of an important time.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a caller. So let's take a caller, Laurie. How about that one? Area code 814. You are online.
Hello, this is Greg from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Greg, and how can we help you today?
Well, I've been looking to clear myself a lot of baggage too. I know my dad has been a regular, reoccurring, miserable pain. I guess I could say that now. I mean, I've been sending the blessings, and we even tried to have some prayer meetings, and everything that I can actually think of to do. Every kind of good prayer, everything, and it's like he lives next door, okay. And one of my situations was I chose the place where I live now because it was cheap. And basically, I'm always saving. My whole thing has been I'd work, I'd put money in the bank, and then I'd take some time off. And I always have like little projects, little spiritual, entrepreneurial, things like that. But because he's been home more since he retired, his negative presence has been so much that it feels like I'm just being totally drained, almost like it's so hard to succeed or to have energy in anything. And it's like, I tried to work with him, but it's like I can't figure out a way to get rid of him. He always wants to hang around. Always, he invites himself to do anything that you're doing. And then he's one of the meanest, cruelest people, but yet always seems to justify him. He always tries to find a way to get back in the door, always trying to make apologies. And it's like, I know my mom and him have issues, and I think he's pretty much driven her to drink every night just because he's so OCD and he doesn't leave people alone. So I've been working with this for years, trying to do all the blessings, and it's just like, what's going to make them leave? I mean, leave people alone.
For my first question is, do you own the place you're staying, or are you renting it?
Yes and no. I'm supposed to own it, but he does have the deed.
Okay, you're saying, what's going to make him leave? But I'm thinking you have free will and free choice. Why don't you leave?
Yeah, that's exactly. I've been trying to work on a lot of things to be more successful, but I need to get things taken care of. So I guess really I'm trying to make the temporary switch. How do I own my space for the time that it takes me to make all those decisions and adjustments, which I've been trying to do for a long time. But I can't.
Fair enough. That's a good question. A good question. Okay, so Laurie, what do you see for him? And then I'm going to try to clear the thing with his dad.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that keeps coming to me is there's a lesson here that you're here to learn around this, and that's the only reason it's kind of in your face right now, is that there's this big gift that you are about to move into, and you really need to allow it to unfold for you. I think what I'm picking up is, there's a lot of love around, and you can choose how you want to react or how you respond. And right now, you're reacting from a place of fear instead of love. And so as we're moving into this eclipse and the next one's really important because, new moons bring in, new beginnings. And when it's added to it, a full lunar solar eclipse added to it, that's just the eclipse energy. This is your opportunity to really focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. So you've kind of talked a little bit about where you are and where you're seeing yourself. Jean asked you about, what your choices are. But right now, I'm going to say, what is it that you want the most? And, you need to really fill that in, because right now you're really kind of focused on what you don't want. And when I say don't want, it's, it's not that you're saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? And you're looking for a cheap place. This is kind of cheap, but there's more to it, and there's a lot of attachments around it. And that part of your energy that is going out to all of that is really kind of there. So really look at and come from that place of love. Like, come from that place instead of, worrying and sleepless nights and expecting kind of the worst kind of stuff. Like, come from that place of, compassion and love, and know that, he is trying to help you. Our families trigger us, our parents trigger us because
I know.
They're the first ones, right? They know all the triggers. Well, but that's not what he means. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the past, it hasn't been as big a deal. One of the, that problem kind of got piled on with some issues I've been having with my back, my middle back, having some trouble, and some chronic fatigue. Before, it's like I could be positive and kind of get rid of, not let it bother me and push on to the positive things. But whenever those 2 or 3 things started to compile together, that's where it feels like I need more, I needed more control in my own space. So if I wasn't weakened, I guess or felt weakened in some other areas of my life, it wouldn't be a problem. It's just, I guess maybe that's part of the lesson. One of the things I've been working on is like a lot of things that have been like nearly successful that didn't quite make it. And I think that, some of those things I was going to use to hopefully fund like a foundation. And maybe this has to do with a lesson of just understanding that I have to be more organized and learn that certain people have times in their lives where they almost need they can be very productive, but they need a lot more done for them. So that could be part of the lesson.
Let's do a clearing on this and see what we can do to help you, because when your body starts getting involved, your body's trying to tell you something. And I don't have my Louise Hay book in front of me so that I could look at the middle back, but to see what that is for you. But, your body's trying to tell you something. So you can kind of go into meditation and tune into your body and ask it, hey, what are you showing me here? What is it you're showing me? And check that out. But so I pulled cards while you were talking to Laurie, and the source, the blockage that we're dealing with here is an ancestral blockage, but it's not your daddy. It's not your grandfather. It's your father's grandfather. Your great-grandfather. Okay. And right. What happened with him, the setup on this, is arranged or no-love marriage and abuse of power. So you're kind of playing out your great-grandfather's stuff because you've got a no-love marriage with your daddy next door, and he's abusing his power, right? So What happened to your great-grandfather is that because of what was going on in his marriage, his heart was shut down. My guess is he probably died of a heart attack. That's an issue in my family. Yeah, I mean, it's been something that I know I've had dreams, visions about. Yeah, because you know what, this stuff flows downhill. It says in the Bible that the sins of the fathers are visited upon the sons up to 7 generations. Well, let me tell you, 7 is not the end of it. It's until somebody's willing to stand up like you are today and say, I'm willing to take responsibility for making sure that this is healed now. I don't want this to go on any further. So I know exactly what you're talking about. When you heal this issue about the heart, sour grapes. Yeah, when you clean this issue around a closed-down heart, then it goes backwards through time. And it also, when you have kids, it will mean that they don't have to deal with this either. So there's a stuck belief that you need to acknowledge so that you can let it go. And this is your great-grandfather's stuck belief, but I would imagine your grandfather, your father, and you have this as well. And that belief is, I am separate. And and you've talked about this, that you're separate from your dad, you want control over your space, and not realizing that, he's going through it too. And he's dealing with these same issues because they're ancestral, they're in y'all's DNA. So let's clear this. Yeah. What I want you to do is I want you to go find your great-grandfather. He is hanging around just like your dad. He's right there. And I want you to help him to forgive anybody that he hurt in his life, if he was the person who abused his power. And I want you to help him to ask forgiveness from anyone that he hurt. And he needs to forgive himself. So just help him do that. Okay. And then you've got areas of old stuck energy, and these are your great-grandfather's thought forms, and they're just yucky places that are inside your body. Check your middle back, causing the fibromyalgia, and it's just old stuck energy that doesn't belong to you. So what I want you to do is I want you to ask your body at the level of his higher self to locate all of the energies, all the reference points for anyone's energy that is not yours, and to lift this stuff up and out of you and off of you and return it back where it came from, along with the appropriate energetic information. Now let's heal that up. Good job. And then let's do the same thing as we did for Anne. I want you to imagine that you're being covered by a big piece of paper. And your great-grandfather is right here, and he wants to give you a message. So let him write you a message on this big piece of paper. And when he's done writing, turn it around and read what it says.
Okay.
And you get blessings from the angels for doing this work. Your first blessing is release from overwhelm. Your second blessing is a healing from your awakened inner. And your final blessing is a centeredness and calmness that will enable you to see what you need to do and to accomplish it. And it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, teachers, and guides. And I ask that all your reference points are updated, all ways in which you perceive and you are perceived in the world. And I ask that you be wrapped in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing all this in to whatever degree is appropriate for your spiritual evolutionary state. So be it. So it is. And thank you for calling in, and I hope this helps.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I felt that.
Good. All right. Okay. So, listeners, if you would like to avail yourself of Laurie and I and the work that we do, call on in now. The number is area code 657-383-1895. And once you call in, then make sure to press 1 because that's what lets the producer, Tiffany, know that you're actually wanting a reading and you're not just listening. And sometimes I have to press it more than once before I get the confirmation from Blog Talk that you're actually in the host queue. So give us a call if you would like to hear from us. So Laurie, what's going on in your world?
It's summer, but it's been a weird, this last week has been a little strange. And I just want to emphasize about Mercury retrograde, and I know you've talked about it, but the big thing about this Mercury retrograde is it's in Virgo, and Virgo's ruling sign is Mercury. So there's a reason why it's going to be a little bit more intense this coming time. And we're actually going to go into Virgo while we're in it. So it is going to have like a strong impact. And I think that's why we're feeling it so early. And I think we've been feeling it for a while now because the shadow was actually on the 24th of July. So it's been kind of here for a while. Yeah. So that's kind of why Mercury's been, But yeah, I mean, it's been, this has been an interesting time. I know that there's a lot of energy just really like hitting the planet. So it's like you have to be open and allowing this stuff. And with the eclipse tonight, it's just, we just need to really be open and just allow this energy to flow through us and just really focus on, what you're wanting instead of what you're not wanting, because eclipses often bring an end to things. Like usually the lunar eclipse, which is what we're having tonight, has more energy to it. This may not be the case this time because I think the solar eclipse is going to have a lot of energy with it, but usually full moons and eclipses kind of have we all know the whole, how full moons affect the tides and bring in interesting weather patterns and affect, our pets and animals. So, I mean, it often does have an intense energy with it. And, eclipse energies go with us for like the next 6 months. So I think the last eclipse that was like this was in 1998. So I don't know if you can think back that far for people, but if you can.
I don't even remember yesterday, Laurie.
I know. I was trying to think what happened in 1998. I know I believe I might have moved addresses, and that's supposed to be a big thing right now for me. But So maybe that's why I've been thinking about it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that can happen. So besides the interesting things that are happening with electronics and Mercury retrograde, I mean, the energy with eclipse, they can be very intense. So it's like just be open instead of resisting. And if you feel, very emotional or very raw, which of course the moon is all about, that raw female energy, that, just be very, very aware of it and allow it to sort of come up, because it will bring up with you, kind of important things. So just really be conscious of where your thoughts go.
You missed this because you were having telephone troubles, but this weekend, Saturday, my closest friend here in Blairsville basically fired me as a friend, and I finally found out on Saturday why, and it was because she heard through the grapevine that I had sold my house and was moving to Tallahassee. And the interesting thing is that when she heard it, I hadn't even made up my mind to move. So there was a huge miscommunication that took place. I mean, I was in Tallahassee when all this transpired, and I was completely unaware of it. And I had not. I hadn't talked to anybody up here and had not made up my mind. So this is a small town, and the rumor mill is rampant always. And so my question back was, why didn't you call me? If I'm such a good friend, why didn't you call me and ask me what the heck's going on here? And she just said no. So apparently that was a relationship that I was ready to release. It was really gonna go by the boards anyway, because I'm moving, 8 hours away. But but that's an example of that intense feminine energy stuff that's happening. And what you were saying about, if we're willing to do the work, good things can happen. And I'll tell you, for the last 3 weeks now, I have been able to make some major breakthroughs in healing old buried stuff from the past that I wasn't aware of. So if you're willing to dig in and Katie bar the door, do your work. Now's the time to do it, because the universe is supporting that. But you know what? We've got a caller. Area code 856. So who are we speaking with?
Hi, it's Rosemaria.
Hi, Rosemaria. How can we help you today?
Whatever you can pick up. Trying to go forward, and it doesn't seem like it's going forward.
Okay. Laurie, what you got for Rosemaria?
Sorry, I missed what she said.
She said she's trying to move forward, but it doesn't seem to be working. She doesn't seem to be able to make any progress.
Okay, well, I don't know how I didn't hear any of that, but I'm glad you did.
Okay. It's Mercury retrograde. You go,
well, it wasn't loud enough, so I changed it over so it would be a bit louder, but I still didn't hear it. Okay, so, one of the things, again, that I'm picking up is, when we're feeling really down and we're wanting to move forward, we still tend to look at all the problems that are holding us back. And so one of the things I'm getting, again, is that, really focus on what you want, because you have a beautiful wish card coming up for you. And you have the sun that's there to assist you. And that also may be saying, this eclipse energy is going to be very, very powerful for you. So I want you to be really open. And all the things that come up, they're coming up for a reason. So whatever it is, don't resist it. Like really, don't drag it in and, belabor it. But I want you to sort of write down the things that are coming up, because these are going to be the themes that you're going to be working with. And I think it's going to be really important to you. I also get that there's a choice that needs to be made. And you're looking for the truth. So it's going to be very important. Your wish thing, though, is probably the most important, because I've gotten now 2 of the major wish cards. So it's really focusing on what you want. And it's really hard sometimes when we want to focus on what we want. when there's chaos happening all around us, which makes us focus on what we don't want. So again, I'm going to say, every time something comes up, I want you to be aware of it and maybe write it down somewhere so that you can maybe look at it later. But as soon as that happens, I want you to shift your focus back. So I really want you to spend this night, like this day, since it's the full moon and it's an eclipse, I want you to spend this day figuring out what is it that you are really, truly wanting. And I also want you to do another list of what are the things that you are ready to let go of. Because it's going to be really important over these next 2 weeks, using the energy of the eclipse to really let that go. And when Jean was talking about her friend, eclipses often bring endings to relationships that no longer meet our needs, no longer are important to our soul's growth. And so I'm looking at what I'm seeing, and there's a lot of things that maybe you're not quite seeing the truth about right now. So again, focus on what you want, make that really, really clear, and have no fear attached to it. So when you say, and I'm not exactly sure where this is coming from, whether it's around a relationship or love or whether it's around work, but I want you, or money, I want you to really be clear. And so, in whatever areas that it will meet in your life and how you kind of come and bring them together so that they complement you instead of, having one area where your feeling is lacking. I want you to really have a nice, clear picture of all the ways this can complement your life. And I want you to be really, really clear. And so when you're clear about what you want, make sure that there's no fear attached to it, that there's no things where you're saying, well, I want to be happy with, so much money. It's not really money that you need. It's not really this, beautiful relationship. It's you, and it's how you feel. So think about how you want to feel when you're thinking about what you want. So is it freedom? Is it love? Is it, think about those kinds of things and focus on that. Have a really good, clear picture of how that would complement your life and what it would look like without the attachment of, well, I can't pay my bills this week, or, like that kind of energy is what you don't want. And so you really need to shift that completely. So whenever you're feeling that, and some people do different things. If you're, more of an auditory person, you could maybe play music or, get a mantra that means something to you. It could be anything. So it's really up to you, but you need to find a way to shift that energy really quickly, because the more you focus on what you don't want, the more that's going to get highlighted. So you, especially around this energy with the eclipses, and I'm pretty much talking to everybody at this point because that's really how it works. So, get really clear about what you do want, and hopefully Jean can help you release whatever it is that's holding you in this pattern.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I want to, because this is a very interesting one. I was pulling cards while you were talking to Laurie, and what's holding you back actually goes back to the 4th month of your gestation, when you were still in your mother's womb. And this is probably going to be a little shocker, but your mother was pregnant with twins. You were supposed to have been a twin. You were supposed to have a twin sister. And apparently either your mother's body wasn't strong enough to hold 2 viable pregnancies at the same time, or I don't know what happened. But anyway, she decided to leave. And you felt stuck, left behind, missing your sister. You've been looking for your sister this entire lifetime. Just because she left when you were still in the womb. What this caused for you was loss of faith in yourself, because you sort of felt guilty or maybe blamed yourself for what happened there. And you internalized a belief, and that belief is, I don't deserve. And so therefore, how can you move forward if you think you don't deserve to move forward into joy, peace, happiness, success, whatever it is? So let's heal this. What I want you to do, Rosemaria, is I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to go find little baby Rosemaria still in her mother's womb. And I want you to connect to her, heart to heart. And I want you to ask her, what can you do to help her right now? So what does she need?
Let go of stuff, not to be angry at certain people.
Yeah, let go of your sister with, that she said, I need to let go. I need to let go. Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to call in an angel. And this angel's name is Stamera. Stamera is the angel of forgiveness. So I want you to let Stamera help little baby Rosemaria to forgive herself for whatever she's blaming herself for with respect to the loss of her twin. She needs to forgive her mother. And she needs to forgive her twin for leaving her. Job. And so you're like some of the others on today's show, you've got areas of stuck energy inside your body and out in your field. And these are the thought forms that you created when you were still in your mother's womb. So this stuff goes way back. And I just want you to ask your body to locate all of these thought forms and to let them go. And ask your higher self to go find them out in the field and to let them go. Let's clear them all out. And you receive blessings for having the courage to call in today and deal with this stuff. Your first blessing is a blessing of union, which gives you the ability to accept love from yourself, because that's where all the love has to be. You have to have that love inside yourself before you can find it outside. Love is an inside job, but also to be able to accept love from spirit, from your family, from partners, from friends. The second blessing is a centeredness and calmness that will enable you to see what you need to do to move forward and accomplish it. And the final blessing is the best of them all, opening to miracles. So it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment now and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And I ask that all of your reference points are updated, and I ask that you are wrapped in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing this work in to whatever degree is appropriate for your spiritual evolutionary state. And thank you so much for calling in today. Hope this helped.
Thanks.
Okay. Wow. So, Laurie, before we run out of time, do you have any thing that you've got going on that you would like to make the listeners aware of? Laurie, are you there? Hello? I think Laurie has gone bye-bye again.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
am I
there
here?
There you are. Yeah, you're
okay.
here.
I hit a button by mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So my question was to you. I know I should be prepared for this every time, but the thing that I had coming up was my interview with Paul Selig next month, and I wanted to know how your interview went.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He is amazing.
Yeah.
You can go out on New Earth Television and listen to the replay, the video of it. I didn't want to stop. I mean, I could have talked that man for hours because his work is so profound and he's such a gentle soul. Listeners, who we're talking about is Paul Selig. He's written 5 books. The most recent book is called The Book of Truth. The first one is called I Am the Word, and they're all amazing. They build on one another. However, I do everything kind of backwards. So I started with the book of Knowing and Worth, which is the halfway through the series. So you don't necessarily need to do it the way I did it, but it's really good stuff. And so what is the date of your interview with him?
I believe it's the 12th, but it's either I think it could be the 5th. I have 2 interviews kind of back to back in September, so I'm very excited and looking forward to it. The other one is with Goswami, the guy from the one, the nuclear physicist that was part of What the Bleep. So I'm really excited about that one too. So I'm, his book is called the Everything Answer book. So it's kind of like what quantum physics like to do. They like to, put it all in one book. So, right. I mean, it'll be very interesting because, they both are quite close together. So I am kind of excited about both interviews, actually. But I'm really excited about Paul because I thought his work was so incredibly powerful.
Well, and I told him, that I said, your work has been pivotal for me because my entire life has changed since I started reading his books. Because I finished that book, that first book, on the plane flying to France. And when I came back from France, it's when I knew I found out in France, I heard my guides told me that it was time for me to move. But I didn't know why or where, any of that. And then I got back here, found out what was going on, and in a month and a half, my house is sold, and I'm packing up to move. And I don't relate to the world the way I related to the world before I started reading and listening to his books. I've read all 5 of them, and I've read them at least twice, and a couple of them I've read 3 times because they're that important.
Yeah.
So,
it is the 12th that I have his interview, so I'm really looking forward to it because it'll be a good hour.
So listeners, go on Laurie's website, intuitivesoul.com, where you can find out everything about her radio show and get signed up for her newsletter, and go on my website, jeanadrienne.com, and sign up for my newsletter, and I will send you the gift of your own online subscription to these cards that I use. There's an online version of them, and you can use them for free, and if you don't like my newsletter, you can opt out, but hopefully you'll like it and keep on. So there you have it. So I think
and we have a special. We have a special that for just the listeners, for you guys that are listening to this show, we do a half hour, a little bit more detailed clearing and reading with the 2 of us. So you get extra work when neither one of us actually offer half-hour sessions. And we're doing it just for our listeners, and we're doing it at a very reduced rate. So as we move into the fall and you want to know what your new beginnings are with, once these eclipses have kind of moved forward and you're using that energy because it works for the next 6 months, and you also feel like making changes when, September comes around, like most of us, we kind of are attached to that, going back to school. So let's start something new. You really have the energy to move forward. If you're wanting to know what's next, contact us, because you can go through either of our websites, so intuitivesoul.com or jeanadrienne.com, or you can call my toll-free number, which is 855-444-87, it's SOUL. Which is, what is that?
I don't know.
Yeah. It is 7685. So 855-444-7685, and you can call my toll-free number and leave a message, and we will get back to you. But it's only $75, and it's for a half hour with us double teaming, doing a little bit more in-depth reading and clearing. So take advantage of that, because that's a special just for you guys.
Very good. And Laurie will be back with us in 2 weeks. She's with me the first and the third week of every month. And so you'll be able, if you miss getting a reading from her today, you'll be able to take advantage of that in 2 weeks' time. So this has been a great show, Laurie. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, that's right. Woohoo.
Yeah, we may be in the eclipse. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because, it's going right over my house.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's cool.
So it'll be dark here.
Yeah.
And it'll be dark here, and there'll be 100,000 people in little bitty Blairsville. But trust me, I'm not leaving my house that weekend.
Yeah.
Funny. So. I know. All right. So I think we've done really well today. I want to thank you all for for being loyal listeners of InnerSpeak Soul Adventures. And until next time, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Ciao.
What you doing? Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.